Did Isaac live in your neighborhood?
Yes.
And did you used to live with your dad?
Yes.
Do you remember the name of the neighborhood that your dad lived in?
No.
Okay. What type of neighborhood was it?
It was a kind neighborhood. It was nice, peaceful.
What I mean by, is there like apartments there and everything?
Yes.
Okay. And did you live with your dad, Franklin Cologne?
Yes.
Now, did he live in that neighborhood with you?
Yes.
Do you remember how old Isaac is?
No, I do not.
Is he your age? Is he older?
I don't know.
Okay. Do you know if he was similar age to you?
No.
It's okay. Did Isaac have a little brother named Israel?
Yes.
Okay. Would you call him Izzy?
Yes.
All right. Was Izzy younger than you?
Yes.
Okay. Do you know how much younger Izzy was than you?
No.
Okay. And did you know Isaac and Izzy's mom, AJ?
No.
Okay. Did you know the lady who was shot in this case?
Yes.
Okay. And was that lady who was shot, was that Isaac and Izzy's mom?
Yes.
Okay. Had you ever seen Isaac and Izzy's mom before in the neighborhood when you lived there?
Yes.
How often would you see, or would you play with Isaac and Izzy a lot?
Yes.
Now, did you live in that neighborhood on the night that Isaac and Izzy's mom was shot?
Yes.
And now, the lady who shot Isaac and Izzy's mom, Susan, do you know her? Had you ever seen her before?
Yes.
Okay. Did she live in your neighborhood too?
Yes.
All right. I'm going to show you a photograph. States 1-1. You recognize that as Isaac and Izzy's mom?
Yes.
Okay. Now, so I want to talk about the night of the shooting. Do you remember that night?
Yes.
All right. So I want to talk a little bit before the shooting happened, okay? Were you in the neighborhood that evening before the shooting?
Yes.
Or do you remember what you were doing?
Yes.
What were you doing kind of before the shooting?
I was playing around with everybody there.
Okay. Was there a field next to your dad's house?
Yes.
All right. Do you remember playing in that field at all?
Yes.
All right. That evening you were playing in the field?
Yes.
All right. So at some point, did you stop playing in the field?
Yes.
Okay. Do you remember what you did after you stopped playing in the field?
Yes.
What'd you do?
I went to go play basketball.
Okay. All right. And is that basketball court, is that kind of near in the neighborhood there?
Yes.
All right. Now, at some point, did you ever remember seeing Isaac and Izzy's mom after you stopped playing in the field? Did you ever see Isaac and Izzy's mom walk over to Susan's house? Do you ever remember seeing Isaac and Izzy's mom walking over to the lady who shot her's house?
Yes.
Okay. Do you remember where you were when you saw her?
Yes.
All right. Where were you?
I was at the basketball hoop.
Okay. All right. And is that kind of in the street there, in between some apartments?
Yes.
All right. And when you saw Isaac and Izzy's mom, can you tell like what she looked like when she was walking over there? Do you remember?
She looked mad.
She looked mad?
Yeah.
Do you remember if Isaac and Izzy's mom said anything while she was walking over to the lady who shot her's house?
Yes.
All right. What do you remember her saying?
I remember her cursing.
Okay. Do you remember anything else specific she said?
No.
When she was going over there? Okay. Now, did you kind of, as Isaac and Izzy's mom walked over to the lady who shot her's house, did you go somewhere else?
Yes, I started going to my house, like near my house.
Okay. All right. And did you see Isaac and Izzy's mom go up to the lady who shot her's door?
Yes.
All right. Do you remember where you were when you saw that?
Yes. I was beside my house.
Okay.
When it happened.
All right. So I want to show you some photographs. So just take eight. Were you in this area of this field of 8 and that we see in states 1-8 when you saw Isaac and Izzy's mom at the door?
Excuse me?
Were you in that general area when you saw Isaac and Izzy's mom at the door?
Yes.
Okay. Now, from where you were in that area, were you in that field area right there?
Yes.
All right. From where you were in the field, were you still able to see the door of the lady who the door of the residence of the lady who shot Isaac and Izzy's mom?
Yes.
Okay. Were you able to see Isaac and Izzy's mom at the door?
Yes.
All right. What do you remember seeing when Isaac and Izzy's mom was at the door?
I remember her banging on the door.
All right. Isaac and Izzy's mom banging on the door?
Yes.
How is she banging? Can you describe that?
She was banging in a mad type of bang. She was like banging like pretty hard.
Okay. Do you remember Isaac and Izzy's mom saying anything while she was
Yes.
banging on the door? What do you remember her saying?
I remember her saying, open up this door.
Okay. Do you remember Isaac and Izzy's mom cussing at all while she was at the door?
Yes.
Okay. Do you remember what she was saying?
Yes.
Okay. What was she saying?
She was saying the B word,
The B
and the F word.
Okay. Now, where was Isaac and Izzy's mom banging on the door?
Kind of in the middle.
In the middle?
Yes.
Okay. Did you ever see Isaac and Izzy's mom reach for the door handle?
No.
Did you ever hear Isaac and Izzy's mom say, "I'm going to kill you"?
No.
So then what do you remember happening after the banging on the door? Well, before I ask that question, did you see Isaac and Izzy's mom bang on anything else while she was
No.
at the door? Alright. So she's banging on the door. Does something happen next? What do you remember?
I remember hearing, after she banged on the door, I remember hearing a gunshot.
Mm-hmm. And then what happened after you heard the gunshot?
I saw Isaac's mom run
Mm-hmm.
and yelling, "Call 911."
What did you do when that happened?
I went to my dad. I ran to my dad, actually.
Okay. So you ran to your dad? Now, before, I want to go back. You said before, you said you saw Isaac and Izzy's mom walking over to the lady who shot her's house, right?
Yes.
Before you saw Isaac and Izzy's mom walking over to the house, did you see either Isaac or Izzy run over to their house? To Isaac and Izzy's own house? Did you ever see them run back to their own house? Do you remember?
No.
It's okay. All right. Thank you very much. I appreciate it, Ariel.
Cross-examination.
Thank you. Hi, Ariel.
Hi.
My name is Morris. Remember we met before? I was on the video when we were talking to you. No, that's okay. That's okay. We're going to go nice and slow, okay? All right. You are currently 13 years old, right?
Excuse me one
Yes.
second. Do you want this picture up?
No, sir. No. Thank you. Okay. So, back in June of last year, you were 12 years old, right?
Yes.
And you knew Susan, right?
Yes.
Okay. She was an older lady, right?
Yes.
Now, when Miss Owens, AJ, when she was walking over from her house to Miss Susan's house, AJ was really mad, wasn't she?
Yes.
She seemed really angry, right?
Yes.
Now, AJ first banged on Susan's sliding glass door, right?
I don't remember.
You don't remember? Okay. Do you remember It's been a long time, hasn't it? Over a year.
Yeah.
Do you remember giving a statement, like speaking to the police right after this happened?
Yes.
And do you remember the police asking you about everything that happened?
Yes.
Would reading a little part of that kind of help? Officially, legally, it's called refresh your recollection. Would it help you remember what you said to law enforcement, what happened on that day?
Yes.
Your Honor, may I approach?
Sure. Excuse me, sir. You're going to read it to yourself, okay?
It's Adam, page 20. I'm sorry, Mr. Smith. Page 24, lines 13 through 14, and page 25, lines 2 through 5.
Ariel, don't read it out loud. Just read it to yourself.
Is this the
Okay?
deposition?
So this is the statement. May I approach, Your Honor?
Yes, sir.
So here I'm going to show it to you, but just like the judge said, just the parts that I'm asking you to read, just read over it to yourself. Do not read it out loud, okay? Okay, so we're going to start with page 24, and then read lines 11 through 17, okay? And let me know when you're done. Okay. Have you been able to kind of remember what you told the police back then?
Yes.
And you ever telling the police back then that AJ first banged on the sliding glass door?
Yes.
And now, after you read it, do you remember AJ first banging on the sliding glass door first?
Yes.
Okay. And then after that, you started banging on Miss Susan's regular door, right?
Yes.
And she was banging really hard, wasn't she?
Yeah, mad hard. Yes.
I'm sorry?
Hard. Yes.
And it was like bang, 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 hard, right?
Yes.
And she was doing it with her fist, right?
Yes.
And AJ was talking really loud as she was banging and banging and banging on that door, correct?
Yes.
Her tone was a loud one and a mad one, right?
Yes.
She was screaming, right?
Yes.
And where she was banging in the middle of the door, kind of like where the door handle is, right?
Objection
No.
or misrepresentation of the testimony.
Where was she
Hold on
banging?
1 second. Overrule the objection. He can answer the question if he knows.
Okay. And she was banging in the middle of the door, kind of like where the door handle is, correct?
No.
She wasn't?
She was banging in, not the middle where the door handle was. Not like beside the door handle, just the middle.
Just the middle? Okay. But in that area, that's when she's banging with her fist, right?
Yes.
And I know you don't want to curse, so I'm going to mention some words, and then you let me know if these are the words that you said. I know you don't want to say it, and I understand. But we have to know exactly the words she was using. She was using the words bitch, right?
Yes.
And fuck, right?
Yes.
And she was saying things like this bitch, right?
Yes.
You had seen arguments between Susan and AJ before this incident, right?
Yes.
When AJ would go down to Susan's house, AJ would tell Susan to stop effing with my kids and to leave or I'm going to fight you, right?
Yes.
And Susan would tell AJ to get off her property, right?
Yes.
On the day of the incident, you saw Izzy pass that no trespassing sign, right? That Miss Susan had?
Yes.
And Miss Susan told all of you to get off her property that day, right?
Yes.
And Isaac and Izzy told her to shut up and things of that nature on that day, right?
I don't remember.
You don't remember? Do you remember that day that you spoke to me and spoke to Miss Sizemore? She's sitting right over there.
No.
Remember you coming into to like a building here in Ocala and speaking to us about what you know about the case? Do you remember that? It was a fancy name called a deposition. Do you remember that?
No.
No. Do you remember another time talking about the case with the lawyers that wasn't when you spoke to law enforcement, when you spoke to the police? Do you remember that?
Yes.
Okay. And do you remember that a court reporter was there, someone that was typing everything up?
Yes.
Okay, you do remember that. Do you remember if that was called a deposition?
No.
No, okay. And do you remember us talking about the things that we're talking about now?
Yes.
And would reading that kind of help you remember some of the stuff that we spoke about?
Yes.
Your Honor, may I approach?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Smith, this is page 18 of the deposition, lines 3 through 7, okay? Okay, Ariel, same thing. I'm going to show you the deposition, and don't read it out loud, just read it to yourself, okay? And then we'll talk about it, all right? Okay, page 18. And then lines 3 through 7. Just let me know, okay? Let me know when you're done reading it. Take your time.
I'm done.
Okay, thank you. Does that help you remember what we spoke about?
Not really. No.
Not really. Do you remember that you told us that Isaac and Izzy told Miss Susan to shut up and things of that nature?
No.
No. But you did read that here, right? You did read it in the deposition that I just showed you, right?
Yes.
Okay. And you were several feet away, like 15 or so feet, when this incident occurred, right?
Yes.
You were by the mailboxes, right?
Yes.
And AJ was right up on Susan's door, right?
Yes.
You could hear Miss Susan say, "Get out of my house," right?
No.
No? Israel, who you call Izzy, was near the tree that Susan had in the front of her property while AJ was banging on Susan's door. Is that right?
Yes.
And that would be the tree that's near the parking lot. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. Isaac was near the mailboxes, right?
Yes.
Biggie was near the tree as well, right?
Yes.
None of them were at AJ's door, right?
Yes.
Okay. Israel, who you call Izzy, never got near Susan's door, right?
No.
Do you remember us talking about when everything was going on, what you heard Susan say to AJ? Do you remember us talking about that in the deposition that we spoke about before?
Wait, can you repeat it?
Do you remember you and I speaking about this incident and what Miss Susan was telling AJ when AJ was banging on the door? Do you remember that?
No.
Okay. Would showing you the deposition kind of help you remember again what we were talking about?
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Smith, specifically page 26 of the deposition, lines 14 through 17. Okay? All right, same thing. I'm going to show it to you, and you just read it to yourself, and then we'll talk about it. Okay? All right, page 26, 14 through 17. Let me know when you're done. Okay? Are you done? Okay. All right, thanks. Do you remember Miss Susan telling AJ to get out of my house now? Yes, sir? Okay. All right. I appreciate your time. I know this is scary, but I really appreciate you being here. Thank you.
Any redirect?
Yes, Your Honor. Okay, Ariel, I want to ask you one more question. So I want to go back to when you see Isaac and Izzy's mom first walking over to the lady who shot her's house, okay? Remember that? When you saw Isaac and Izzy's mom walking over there?
Yes.
When you saw Isaac and Izzy's mom walking over there, did you see anything in Isaac and Izzy's mom's hands?
No.
No further questions.
Is he excused?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.